This is the best mod for the most dangerous bosses. Elander's Cataclysm adds 7 unique bosses with new dungeons full of enemies. To fight them, the mod also gives you a lot of amazing items. We begin our journey deep underground in large caves. Here, with a small chance, you can find the Amethyst Crab. This stone monster has a huge claw, and small amethyst crystals grow on its back. The Amethyst Crab is neutral to player until attacked, so I recommend preparing by crafting at least iron armor. The crab has 2 main attacks. First, it slams the ground, creating shockwaves. The last hit can temporarily break a shield. For the second attack, the crab burrows into the ground, becoming immune to damage. He jumps out of the ground and shoots crystals. You can move away or block them with a shield. After defeating him, the crab drops some of his meat and an amethyst crab shell. Eating the meat gives regeneration, but I suggest saving some. It will be very hard to defeat one of the strongest bosses without it. The amethyst crab shell can be used to craft the Bloomstone pauldrons. This armor is strong as a diamond chestplate. If you press the Y key, you'll shoot many amethysts around you, but you need to wait before using it again. This attack damages all nearby mobs, which will be useful later. To meet the next boss, you must go to the Nether and find the Soul Blacksmith. To avoid wandering too long, craft the Eye of Monstrosity. Unlike the Ender Eye, it does not break and does not burn in lava, and one is enough to find the dungeon. In the blacksmith area, you can find netherite scraps, until a lava stream leads to a secret room. At the center, you will see a netherite monstrosity, but to activate it, you must first defeat the boss. I will come back, so do not go anywhere. Yes. The netherite monstrosity is a huge beast. You need good preparation to fight it. Get diamond armor, enchanted weapons, and fire resistance potions. It's also a good idea to remove lava from the pillars. You will have to keep blocking the lava during the fight. The monstrosity has several attacks. Up close, it slams the ground and charges forward, destroying everything. If hit, you get a broken bones effect, which slows you down. It can also create an explosive wave, knocking you back. From a distance, it shoots fireballs. It can also realize magma blocks from its chest, creating lava sources. It is better to close them fast, because the boss can heal with this lava. At 30% health, it enters Rage mode, breaking everything around it. Its attacks become stronger. After the battle, it drops its horn, an infernal forge, and a lava power cell. The internal forge is a pickaxe and a powerful weapon. It never breaks, and right-clicking makes a strong array attack. Using the monster's horn at the blacksmith's table, you can craft the monster's helm. This helm is indestructible. If your health drops to half, it pushes enemies away. It also gives you extra defense, resistance, and regeneration. Finally, lava power cells activate the netherite monstrosity in the secret room. This cute mob is actually a chest, and you can put your things inside. You can also put it in a bucket, so it is like a shulker. But you do not need to go to the end, but we will go there later. By the way, you can summon another netherite monstrosity without fighting the blacksmith. You need to craft a netherite effigy and power it with lava power cells. The next boss is waiting in the cursed pyramid in the hot desert. To find it faster, craft the Eye of Desert. Wow, it is too big. The Cursed Pyramid is a massive dungeon. You might spend hours exploring it. It is a maze full of secret rooms, traps, and enemies. There are 3 types of traps. The first sets you on fire when stepped on. The second is triggered by a trapwire and shoots darts. The third collapses, dropping the player down. While walking this pyramid, dig the suspicious sand. You can find an artifact inside. It is needed to start the boss fight. The pyramid is home to several skeletal monsters. The Cabalodon looks like a small skeletal dinosaur. It holds a cutlass in its hand. Individually, they're weak, but they always attack in pairs. They can knock weapons out of your hands. You can avoid this by wearing sticky gloves. When defeated, they may drop their weapon, Cabalodon Bone or Ancient Metal. The Cabalidator is a stronger version of the Cabalodon. It swings a huge sword, sometimes making shockwaves. If you try to run, it charges forward, breaking everything in its path. After killing it, you get an ancient gold ingot and the Cabalidator's skull. With this, you can craft the bone reptile chestplate and helmet. These offer great defense. You can also wield the skull. I do not know why, but it's look cool. Another creature in the pyramid is a Wadjet. It looks like a giant skeletal snake. It wields an ancient spear. It attacks up close, creates sand whirlwinds, and drops falling sand. If hit, you get the desert curve effect. It reverses your controls, which is very annoying. When defeated, it drops an ancient ingot. With luck, it may also drop the ancient spear. I did not get the spear, but you can make it from ancient ingot ingots. It can make sand whirlwinds when it hit. They're strong. Once you have the necklace of the desert, you must go to the top of the pyramid, then jump down into the depths. There, many Cabaldons are waiting. The eternal sleep of the Revenant is guarded by a Cabalidiator and the Warjet. It looks like this will not be easy. After dealing with everyone, you can finally fight the boss by distracting its sleep with the desert necklace. The ancient Revenant is a huge dinosaur, wearing golden harnesses. In battle, the ancient evil stomps with its fill and tail, makes huge days forward, summons desert whirlwinds around itself, and calls down a sandstorm. The dinosaur is immune to fire and arrows, and if you somehow manage to lower its health by 50%, it will start regenerating very quickly. But sooner or later, the Revenant drops an entire block of ancient gold, which can be broken down, a sandstorm in a bottle, and skull remains. The sound bottle allows you to summon a whirlwind that circles around the player, and it will also be useful for a new weapon in the future. As for the skull remains, they summon a mini version of the boss. This cutie can be tamed with a sniffer egg, and acts just like a dog. This small skeleton drops skull parts. You can heal it with bones. To find the next powerful boss, you will definitely need to craft the Eye of Merch. The ancient factory is located deep underground. We need to find the entrance. You cannot break the blocks around the dungeon. The factory has many useful things, including several wither skulls. By the way, you must summon and defeat the wither to activate the mechanical boss. There are no workers left in the factory, but the security remains. The Watcher is a small flying droid that bites up claws and shoots lasers from a distance. The Escort is a fearsome machine that attacks with a circular saw and fires homing missiles. If hit, the missiles inflict the wither. The mob also has a powerful laser attack, which is best avoided by hiding behind blocks. Sadly, mobs only drop iron and redstone, but you can still find good things here. By climbing up near the entrance and pressing a button, you can send 2 minecarts forward. Upon arrival, they open a secret room to the right of the main hall. Activating a netherite star on a pile of metal finally starts the battle. The Harbinger is a formidable boss, resembling a wither clad in iron armor. The boss shoots a laser that sets everything on fire and can launch a missile barrage that inflict wither. It also has powerful bombs that leave behind clouds of wither. The boss' strongest attack are a lightning fast dash forward and a devastating laser beam. During the fight, you'll likely notice a lever on the pillars. This activates an enemy block that can briefly paralyze the Harbinger. There are 4 enemy blocks, so it's best to use them wisely. When the boss reaches half health, it becomes immune to projectiles, and all its attacks become faster and deadlier. After victory, the Harbinger drops a withered block, which can be broken down into 9 withered ingots. From this ore, 3 new weapons can be crafted. The Grinder is a massive saw that deals continuous damage when holding the right mouse button, ignores armor and works in an area. The laser minigun shoots rapidly, ignites targets, and deals a lot of damage, but wears down quickly. The minigun does not break. It uses redstone from your inventory to work, so it can shoot for a long time. And finally, the Withered Granite Launcher. It fires rockets, and if you crouch, you can shoot a powerful warhead that leaves behind a wither cloud. Besides weapons, Witherite is used to craft an anvil for weapon fusion. This allows you to upgrade items from the mod, but I'll talk about that later. The next boss on our path lives in a massive ice prison somewhere in the snowy lands. To find the dungeon, you can craft the Eye of Curse. The pyramid was not very big in the end. The ice prison has a lot of available loot, including several wither skeleton skulls. You can also find black steel blocks. These are used to craft new tools and a shield. The items are similar to iron versions, but of greater durability. Steel is also used to create a few more things. But for that, we need to defeat the boss of the ancient castle. The main inhabitants and guards of the prison are the undead warriors, Draugs. There are 2 more versions of them. The Royal Draugr has more health and carries a shield that blocks most attacks. The Elite Draugr is taller than its brothers and knows how to use a crossbow. All the undead drop black steel. The castle's greatest danger is a massive Heptaganter. It can strike with its huge axe, creating dangerous magical waves, and can dash forward, grabbing the player and dragging them along. Upon death, the mob also drops an ingot and Voru's junk. Here is a cool fact. You can get the giant's head with a charged creeper, or find it on the biggest tower. It even has nice animations. With a charged creeper, you can also obtain the head of a regular Draugr ogre. Finally, descending deep into the dungeon, you will open a gate leading a spacious hall with a small altar in front. It is activated by simply pressing it, summoning Maledictus into our world. Maledictus is a spectral warrior in golden armor, who, thanks to his wings, moves very quickly. Under his health bar, there is a rage meter. The more hits he lands, the higher it gets, and the more damage Maledictus deals. The boss can also use a bow, 2 maces and a spear. Maledictus attacks very quickly and constantly flies into the air to strike from above. Using the spear, Maledictus makes a launch forward and summons many magical spears around himself. Finally, Maledictus can quickly dash, lifting his victim into the air and slamming them into the ground with great force. Most of the boss attacks can be avoided using a shield. If Maledictus' wrists show a green circle, the attacks can be blocked. Orange will disable the shield for a cooldown, and red means the attack cannot be blocked. After victory, Maledictus drops cursed ingots, and his summoning totem will recharge over time. Using a cursed ingot, you can craft 3 new weapons and create ghostly armor. To craft it, you also need to make a smoothing template for cursed upgrade, then combine it with an ingot and netherite armor at the smoothing table. Ghost armor has excellent stats and unique abilities. The helmet allows you to see through walls, and the chestplate works like a totem of undying, reviving you upon death with a 6-minute cooldown. Pants can sometimes save you from an attack, and boots reduce fall damage. When it comes to weapons, you can make the Annihilator with a special ingot. This is a boss weapon, but it is not very strong. If you make 2 of them, you can hit multiple enemies at once. Soul Render is a strong spear. It lets you dash forward and leaves behind weapon clones that deal damage. If you hold the shift key, you can realize magical clones around you. Cursed Bow is a ghostly boss weapon. It shoots 3 arrows at once, but if the arrows have effect, it shoots 2. This weapon can be upgraded at the fusion anvil. With Sandstorm in the bottle, it becomes Wrath of the Desert. This new weapon shoots 3 hurricanes that follow enemies automatically. This weapon does not need arrows. To reach the next boss, we must kill the Ender Dragon. The Citadel is on the far end islands. To find it, it is best to craft an Eye of Void. The Citadel is a small maze filled with traps. Mostly, this place is home to a non-box called Endermaptera. They're not very dangerous, and when they die, they drop the Void Jaw. This item is used to craft new arrows. When they hit, they break into shards that also deal damage. To reach the boss, you must find iron trapdoors leading tower and lower. On the way, you will meet an Ender Golem. It is a strong enemy. It attacks up close and summons attacking runes. This enemy is very weak compared to the last ones. When the golem dies, it drops the Void Core. This item summons runes and can be used for 2 upgrades at the fusion anvil. If you combine the core with the Infernal Forge from the Soul Blacksmith, you'll create the Void Forge. This tool summons rune pillars and also works as a pickaxe. If you combine the Wither Assault shoulder weapon and the core, you get the Void Assault shoulder weapon. This weapon shoots super rockets that create many magical pillars on impact. Finally, when you reach the altar at the bottom, the Ender Guardian will appear. This is a huge golem with a shulker for a head. The Ender Guardian mostly attacks up close. It dashes quickly and teleports to the player. Many of his hits cause a stun effect, which stops movement for a short time. The boss can also summon runes from the ground and shulker bullets around itself. When it loses half its health, the Ender Guardian removes its shell and breaks the arena floor. In the second phase, the boss becomes stronger and faster, but we have come too far to lose now. When defeated, the boss drops its glove. This glove acts as extra armor when held in hand. It's also a powerful weapon that pulls in enemies when you hold the right mouse button. At the fusion anvil, the glove can be combined with Sandstorm in a bottle to create the Maelstrom Gauntlet. These items open small portals that pull in everything around before making a neutron explosion. It is time to go home. One of the strongest bosses is waiting in its ancient lair in the Sunken City. To find Atlantis, you can craft the Eye of Abyss. The Sunken City is the largest dungeon in the mod, partly buried underwater. Besides the boss arena, there are many other important buildings in the city. In the warehouse, you can find many valuable ores and chests full of useful loot. In the storage, you can even find a diamond block. In the prison, there are corralsus, which we will meet later. Under the altar and library, there is one huge room. Getting all the sunken treasures will not be easy. Many enemies guard them. The Diplin is the weakest enemy in the underwater city. It looks like an enderman with glowing body parts and holds a coral spear. The Diplin can hit up close or throw its spear from a distance. When it dies, it has a small chance to drop this weapon. It works like a trident but does less damage. The brutal Diplin is a stronger version of the normal Diplin. Instead of a spear, it holds a bardish. It can use it like a trident with loyalty. When killed, the weapon can drop with a small chance, and it has higher damage than the spear. The Diplin Anger appears with a lionfish. This enemy poisons you when it attacks. The lionfish also poisons you when hurt. When the lionfish dies, it drops spines that poison everything around it. Its meat can be eaten, but gives bad effects. The Diplin Priest is a keeper of underwater knowledge. It attacks with a ritual dagger and can light its lantern to cause blindness. To avoid the attack, just look away. The Diplin Warlock also holds a small dagger, but it has some power from the ancient monster Leviathan. This mage can summon sucking portals. If you enter them, you get Abyss Burn. This effect stacks and deals constant damage. At high levels, it can teleport you randomly. From Diplin Priests and Diplin Warlocks, the ritual dagger always drops. It is not useful as a weapon, but it's needed to crafting the item that summons the underwater monster. All Diplins drop Nautilus spells, which are also needed for crafting. Diplins sometimes spawn in deep oceans, but the mage and priest appear only after killing the boss. The next monster in the city is Coralsus. This is a big monster that other underwater creatures can ride. Coralsus can jump attack and go into a rage to destroy its prey. When it dies, it drops a piece of coral. The last monster in this city is a color golem. It is similar to Coralsus, but cannot be ridden and does not enter a rage. When the golem dies, you get a crystallized coral shard. With 4 shards, you can craft crystallized coral. This can replace the coral piece in the crafting of Abyssal Sacrifice. This item is needed to summon the underwater monster. Before the boss fight, we go to the Amethyst altar. There we can bless Amethyst Crab meat. Yes, it sounds strange, but it's true. Here is the meat. If you eat it, you get an Amethyst blessing. This buff removes bad effects from the boss fight. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll get more videos, so everyone wins. Before the battle starts, it's best to full enchant your armor and get a weapon with pulling power. It is also good to build an underwater beacon, because the whole fight will happen underwater. Finally, after making the blessed meat and putting the sacrifice for the death on the altar, the battle with the Leviathan will start. Leviathan is a huge creature with a scary mouth and 4 tentacles. The boss has many attacks. It can hit with tentacles and bite, making the player stunned for a few seconds. It can summon magic spheres that deal damage when they touch you. It can dash forward, destroying everything in its path, and also shoot powerful interdimensional beams. One of the strongest attacks is a huge laser beam coming from the boss' mouth. Leviathan can also tear space and create a portal that pulls everything inside. And finally, the monster can teleport and hit with its tail, giving the broken bones effect. When the boss health goes to 0, phase 2 will begin. Leviathan will change its shape, become angrier, faster and stronger. It will also get a new ability. The boss can shoot homing spheres that give bad effects. The crab meat will help against them. After death, the boss will drop an abyss egg and tied claws. If you place the egg in one in-game day, a baby Leviathan will hatch, and you can tame it with tropical fish. Mini Leviathan will attack your enemies, and you can put it in a bucket and carry it, just like other pets in the mod. Finally, tied claws are very very useful. They're a grappling hook that lets you move quickly, which helps in fights with other bosses. Also, the claws are a strong weapon. If you press the left mouse button, a tentacle will appear and grab several creatures at once. The tentacle not only deals damage, but also gives an effect that quickly kills living things. After getting a new tool and preparing well, you can go to the Nether to find the Blazing Arena. To make travel easier, you need to craft the Eye of Fire. The Blazing Arena is a coliseum where you will fight the final boss. But first, you need to defeat its guardian. Revenant is a creature with spinning shields around it. It can hit with its armor and through sharp shards. The mob can also realize a burning vortex that not only deals damage, but also gives blindness. You can attack Revenant only when it uses the fire attack, but if you have an axe, you can destroy its shields. Yes, now you're not so scary. After death, Revenant will drop Blazing Ash. You need to throw it into the fire altar to summon the boss. But first, do not forget to get the gold on the top of the arena and dig under the altar to take the loot from the chest. After activating the altar, Ignis will appear in the arena. Ignis is the hardest boss in the mod. He looks like a burning knight with a huge shield and sword. Ignis attacks with a sword, setting enemies on fire and giving the firebrand effect. This effect lowers armor, and when Ignis hits someone with this effect, he heals himself. In the battle, Ignis also uses his shield. The boss can also prepare an attack and then stab his sword right into the enemy's body. Ignis can jump very far and create fireballs. The pink fireballs can be hit back to damage the boss. If you hit back 3 times, Ignis' shield will break, making him much weaker. When the boss has 66% health left, he will start burning with blue fire. At 33% health, Ignis will throw away his shield and become much more dangerous. The boss can lift his sword above his head and then make a strong attack, creating fire pillars in front of him. Whew, that's all. After death, Ignis will drop Ignite Ingots. If you made an Annihilator, you can combine it on the Fusion Anvil to get the Incinerator. Using both weapons at the same time, you can make area attacks that burn all enemies around. You can also use the ingots to craft new armor and some interesting items. Ignite Armor has amazing stats. To craft it, you need to make an Ignite upgrade and then combine it with Netherite Armor and an Ignite Ingot, like Phantom Armor. Ignite Armor has special abilities. The helm gives better vision in lava. The chestplate can be combined with Elytra on the Fusion Anvil, so you can fly using armor. The leggings set attackers on fire, and with the boots, you can walk on lava. You can also craft new weapons from Ignite. The fire shield lets you dash forward, dealing damage to enemies in your way. The shield can be combined with the Ender Guardian's glove to make the fire glove. This weapon pushes and burns enemies around. If you realize the right mouse button, you'll make a dash. The next weapon, the Scroacher, is a huge sword. It is not only very strong, but it can also summon fire pillars in front of it. Finally, Blazing Grips are an extra item that is worn in the hand slot. With them, your attacks will give the firebrand effect, which lowers the enemy's armor after defeating Ignis. You can also find the Berserker in the arena. He is a powerful warrior who fights with 4 swords and gives a firebrand effect. After death, he drops Fading Ash, which can be crafted into Blazing Ash to summon Ignis again. Subscribe to the channel, there are many cool reviews.